Hey magnificent souls. Okay, so as you know, today is the full moon in Pisces, and as promised, I told you guys that we were going to do a powerful full moon ritual. So I've already washed off my candle. I'm using a pillar candle, a glass candle. These go by different names, but you want to get one of these plain white candles. Typically a 7-day or a 3-day candle will work. Just going to wipe the candle down. So you wash it with water, and as the water's running under over the candle, as you're washing the outside of the candle, you want to visualize, cleansing and light going into the candle. When you do any type of ritual, spell work, magic, it's all about your intent. Okay. So what I like to do is, traditionally, some people use rum, white rum, to cleanse. Alcohol. I like to use Florida water to also cleanse my candle. So what I do is just put a little bit of Florida water in the palm of my hand, rub my hands together, and again, I'm rubbing this all over the candle, and I'm visualizing and setting an intention. So as I told you guys, I was going to use this white candle, which is a universal color. You can use white because you can program it to do what you want. But I'm using white to invite peaceful energy. White is a very powerful color when it comes to protection spells, inviting positivity, cleansing, healing, and just positive energy all around. So white is a very good color to use when doing these type of rituals, because white is a symbol or a color that's associated with a full moon. It is an appropriate color to use. So now that you have cleansed the candle of any previous energy that it may absorb from people handling it, touching on it, you're ready to perform your ritual. Now I like to sometimes take some of the Florida water and cleanse the inside of the rim a little bit, just kind of get inside of the rim to make sure it's cleansed. Now don't worry about the sticker. Some people will take the sticker off, but I don't too much worry about the sticker, okay? But you can take the sticker off if you want. And what's interesting is that we have our full moon falling on a Monday, and the color associated with Monday is white. So this is why this is an appropriate candle to use for this full moon. Monday represents moon day. I feel like the energies are more intense because of this, because there is an alignment to white. The fact that we're doing a full moon ritual on a day that represents the moon, okay? Another reason why we're using white is, like I said, it's a universal color that can be programmed to do different things. But typically white promotes strength, peace, positivity, and insight, okay? So this is why we're using a white candle. Now I talked about using a glass candle because these are more appropriate for dressing, and because it holds the content within the glass. So as it burns down, the herbs are burning down in the wax, okay? But you don't have to use a wax candle. I just find that these, for me, are safer, especially if you're going to step away from the candle. But you can use a regular candle that you can roll in the herbs and oils and burn. But I like to use these glass candles because these are slower burn. I like to do a 7-day candle because I like to, especially when you're starting your ritual on the first day of the week. Typically I start my week on a Sunday, but for people that start their week on a Monday, this would be a really good day to start your ritual and have your candle burn for 7 days, for a full week. And when you're burning the candles for a full week, that kind of signifies like a whole cycle, and that would give you enough time to complete a ritual such as the full moon, because the energies of the full moon tend to linger. But as you know, the full moon phase it transits really quickly. So right after the full moon, the moon goes into different phases. Part of these phases, for example, the waxing moon, that will give you time to reflect. So because you're allowing your candle to burn slower, every day your candle burns, you have the ability to, sit next to it, sit by it, and reflect on it, and reflect and continue to reflect on the intentions that you're trying to set for your candle. So, you know, you would initially set your intentions, and then you can come back every day and kind of gaze into the flame and continue to reflect on those intentions to strengthen that, because you want to incorporate all the elements, because we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but you want to incorporate the elementals like fire. You can use the herbs to represent earth, and then you have water, which we're going to talk about later, because I'm also going to put a glass of water next to my candle. Because I'm doing a cleansing, I always tend to put a glass of water next to my candle. And air, which is, you know, around the candle. So you get 7 days to really set your intention. 7 days to come look at the candle every day. Maybe, you know, part of the ritual is ritualistically making sure you're focusing on the intent. So having a full 7 days of focusing on one thing or similar things will actually amplify what you're trying to manifest. So we want to program this candle to do two main things. First, we want it to cleanse negative energy, remove anything that doesn't serve us, and then we want it to bring in positive energy and to bring in something new to replace the negativity that has to be released, because that's what the full moon is signifying. It's time of harvest, it's a time of reflection, it's a time of releasing. Okay, and white, we're using this white to invite positive energy, positive intentions, and we're going to strengthen those intentions within that 7 day period. And then you can go ahead and repeat the ritual again if you want, just to kind of keep encouraging that intent until you manifest it. Okay, so those are the reason I'm choosing this white candle. Now this candle's been cleansed, and I've rubbed Florida water. Sometimes people rub oil on the outside of the candle. I don't tend to do that. I clean the inside of the rim, and then I put olive oil inside the candle. Any, you know, carrier oil that you want to use, but I tend to use olive oil as my oil. And then for my essential oils, for the herbs and scents that I want to use, I'm using clary sage, lemon, neroli, frankincense, patchouli, vanilla, rose, and sandalwood. And the reason I'm using these, one, because this is an emotional detox, and because this is meant for an emotional detox, this is going to invite unconditional love. This is going to invite more self-love, and it's going to purify, because this is also a purification. Okay, so that's another important detail, is that white represents purification. So releasing negativity, purifying the energy in your home, because we're going to set the intention to cleanse not only your emotional body, your physical body, your home, your space, and then we're going to ask for protection. Okay, so now let's get back to getting the herbs prepared. We're going to go ahead and also talk about what we want to write on our candles. And again, magic is all about you setting your intentions and you creating a ritual that works for you. So these things that I'm doing are not law. You know, you can switch it up. You can add different herbs. I'm using just the herbs that I have on hand, but I am going to mention other herbs that you can use. You know, less is more. Sometimes you don't have to have a whole bunch of herbs in your candle. You don't want to crowd your candle, and you want to make sure that you're practicing fire safety. What we're going to do is we're going to discuss the herbs. I talked about a few of them briefly, so let's go ahead and talk about why I'm choosing some of these herbs. I may not put all of them in. I may put them in. Now, sometimes I create a powder of dried herbs that I use in a mortar and pestle, and I take dried herbs, and I grind them down into a powder. And I do have powders that are already prepared, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to be using fresh and dried herbs. Okay, so let's talk about this chunk of ginger. Ginger is really good in your spells when it comes to protection. Ginger is good for protection, and ginger is good for money. Okay, any of the hot, spicier herbs are really good for money. Sweet smelling herbs or spices are really good for money, because it is going to really create the energy you need to invite that energy of prosperity and abundance, because what's associated with abundance? The sun, right? And the sun is hot. So I use cayenne as an accelerant. Cayenne pepper is often used, you know, in different rituals, but I use this to amplify what I'm trying to do, the intent. So this is going to help to make my ritual or spell stronger. Okay, so this is cayenne pepper, and cinnamon as well is a really good herb when you're when it comes to abundance, prosperity, any money spells. Cinnamon is good for happiness. Cinnamon is good for protection. Cinnamon is a very good universal powder when it comes to prosperity, peace, because it has a sweet smelling herb. It invites sweeter energies. Okay, very powerful. Always make sure you have this in your arsenal. Make sure you have cayenne pepper. Garlic, I'm sorry, black pepper, okay, is going to be used to for the protection aspect of the spell. So we're going to do it in two parts. We're going to do all the protection stuff first, and then we're going to layer on top the healing, what we want to bring in. You use these together, but we're going to set the intentions on the specific protection herbs, and then we'll set the intentions on the specific prosperity, money, love, abundance stuff we want to bring in. So we're going to be using for protection, basil. Okay, so I have some fresh basil, and I have some fresh mint. This is mint, and then here's my basil. So it's a little wilted because I cut it off the plant. It's wilting. Of course, this is natural. This is going to happen. But so I have basil for protection, mint for protection, and I'm going to leave a little bit of mint for a little bit of peace. Okay, so we're just going to use a little bit of mint for the protection, a little bit of mint for the peace. The bay leaf is the most important aspect of our protection spell. Bay leaves are also like cinnamon. You can use it in multiple rituals, excuse me. And you can use this in your protection. You can use this in success spells. You can use this for multiple things. So this is why we're using a bay leaf. I'm using vervain, and this is off of a plant that we have growing in the yard. I've dried it, and I have a little bit of the flowers on it still attached. I'm going to be using sage, dried sage. I'm going to be using cloves for the protection. Okay, I'm also using a white quartz crystals for the protection. And what else are we going to use for the protection? Cinnamon. Okay, black pepper, mint, basil. You can add a little garlic if you want. I'm not going to add garlic, but you can add a little bit garlic. Okay, and then to bring in the joy and happiness, that's mint, that's cinnamon, money, peace, cinnamon, mint, ginger, basil, success, bay leaves. So pretty much everything here. I have a little bit of dried lavender as well. Lavender is really good too for peace, cleansing, anything to do with cleansing and purification. So really good. You know, a lot of these can be used for purification as well. Sage, the crystals are very good. This is really good to protect against negative energy, the vervain. And vervain, it grows wild, or you can order it dried through Etsy or online Amazon. You can find these herbs anywhere. Okay, so how are we going to prepare the herbs? So if you don't have them all dried, to put them in a mortar or pestle and to pound them into a powder, you could just cut them up in small pieces and you sprinkle them in the candle. Okay, so let's get started with preparing the herbs, And then I'm going to put some oils. We're going to write on the candle first before we put the herbs in. But let's start to prepare the herbs, and then I'll come back. Now, you don't have to cut up the cloves. You could just add the cloves in. Show you how I'm going to do that. I'll show you how we'll put everything in the candle all nice. Another thing you can do with the bay leaf is you could cut some bay leaf into the and sprinkle it in the candle. You can also write what you want on the bay leaf, and you can stick that in the candle whole, like so. And then you can burn it down right on top of the candle. Okay, that's something that you can also do. All right, so let's get started with preparing the herbs. All right, so I'm going to start with the vervain, and I'm just going to cut some of the leaf, some of the stem and the flowers, and it's just small pieces is fine. Remember, you can take the dry herbs and form a powder. You can actually buy these things already in powder form sometimes and create just like a protection powder. I have one that I created that has camphor, white pepper, all kinds of different herbs that I've pounded into a very fine powder that I sprinkle into my candle. So here's the vervain, and as you can see, I have it now down to like a very fine bits and pieces. And this is what you want, because I don't like to overcrowd my glass candle with too much stuff, because it actually can snuff out the flame. So you just want to make sure that you're cutting your stuff up small enough, or you're creating that powder. If you want, you can rip it up if you want. It's whatever you want to do. There's no rules to how you prepare it. You know, if you're more traditional with how you're preparing your stuff, that's fine. But you are the magician. You have your tools in your kitchen. These are things that I actually grabbed out of my kitchen. Some of the stuff I grabbed from outside. Like I said, some of these plants are fresh that I grabbed, and from just my pot, right out of the potter. Just cut some pieces of leaves off of my live plants, and we're just working with what we have on hand, because you have all the tools. You are the magician, so you don't have to worry about not having what you need. You will always have what you need. Even if there's no herbs around, you still have tools to create the magic you want. So I'm just cutting up some of this basil, and basil's really good for purification, you guys. Sometimes basil's referred to as tulsi, or holy basil, and what it's meant for is, some people make holy water with it. You can actually put basil in water in a spray bottle, and you let it soak, and you could spray the essence of it in the basil that's soaked into the water in your home, and as a way to bless your home. See how I'm cutting this up in just little small pieces? So probably going to fast forward this just so that we don't make this a super long video, but I just want to show you how simple and easy you can prepare. And yes, I like to use fresh herbs, especially when I'm trying to bring in money and success. I like to use fresh herbs for money, success, prosperity. But dried herbs work just as good, but these all have vibrations and resonance and energy attached to them, and that's what is going to create the magic, because when you combine them with other elements, this is what's going to create the magic you need to invite these energies in. So now we're going to cut up some mint, and I'm kind of keeping them separate just so I know which is which. So I'm cutting up the mint now into small pieces. Okay, So what we're going to do here is we're going to start to prepare a candle, and you can write what you want. So what I like to do is, so I take one side of the candle, and this is going to be the side that I'm writing my what I want to release. So you could actually jot down what you want to release, and then the other side you could write what you want to bring in. Okay, so you just figure out what side you want to use. So this would be like my divider. So this side one thing, and then on the other side one thing. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come back. Okay. So I just want to show you guys how I wrote all what I want to release on one side. So the next side, I'm starting to write what I want to invite in. So I'm going to write down all the things that I want to invite in all the way down. And then I'll come back when I'm done, and then we'll go ahead and start dressing the candle. We'll get to the good part. All right, so I'm done programming my candle. As I wrote those things, read them out loud to myself as I was writing them. So I wrote down what I release. I release, started each sentence with I release. And a trick is not to touch the ink. Let it completely dry so that it doesn't rub off, okay? So make sure you're using a permanent marker. And then on the other side, I wrote what I wanted to invite in. I also wrote protection at the top and emotional detox at the bottom. I wrote all the things that I wanted to invite. So you could write symbols. So I'm going to write a symbol at the bottom. You can choose your symbol of choice. Then we're going to go ahead and get this candle dressed. Bring this up just a little bit so you guys can see everything. So we're going to bring back our herbs, and I'm going to start with what we want to release. Okay, so you can poke holes in your candle, and some people will poke 9 because 9 is symbolic of different things, and you can use different amounts of holes, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to add my oils. And you don't want to overdo it with the oils, because like I said, if you put too much, you can actually snuff out the candle. So sometimes it's best to trim your wick. So I'm going to trim my wick so that it's just below the rim, right where the rim starts. Okay, that's just how I like to do it. All right, so we're going to start off by sprinkling the stuff for protection. And as you're doing that, you're going to make sure that you're setting the intention in your mind. You've already wrote down the intention. You're going to visualize the intention as you're putting the herbs in. So again, for the protection herbs, we're going to be using bay leaf, basil, mint, black pepper, cinnamon, and sage. Okay. All right, so let's start off with a little bit of olive oil, and I just do a couple of drops. I like to just go on the sides of the candle and just put a little bit of the oil. Make sure it's on the sides of the candle where I could see the sides of the glass part of the candle, where I can actually see it on the glass. And you just want enough so that the herbs can stick down. So olive oil is also symbolic of peace. Salvation, protection. So I kind of roll it in there and make sure we get that oil down into the candle just a little bit more. And again, you don't want too much. Don't pour it in. Be very intentional as you're putting this in. And I'm very intentional when I'm doing this type of ritual. Now, the reason why we're doing this on the full moon is because the full moon is going to amplify. And we're going to, if you can put this next to a window where you can see the full moon, that would be even better. But if you can't, that's fine. You can actually put the candle out in the moonlight if you want before lighting it. But that's not all necessary. We just want to use the powerful moon to set the intention. So we got the oil in there. Then I'm going to put a couple of drops of the emotional detox. Well, I'm going to do this after, actually, when I do the stuff that I want to bring in, because I'm going to be reciting some of the things that I would like to release. So as you're putting this stuff in, you want to recite some of the stuff that you would like to release. So we're going to start with a little bit of vervain. And we're going to sprinkle that in. I release negative energy or all negativity that's holding me back from my highest and holiest good. I release strong attachments to the past. So you're just going to put in your protection herbs. So we're going to put in the vervain, the mint, mint leaves, basil for our protection herbs. So we're going to put in some sage. I release negativity, blocks to my abundance. I release any resentment, fears of success or abundance. Okay, and we're going to put in our 3 cloves down into 3 sides. You can do 4 if you want. I just grabbed 3, okay, for no specific reason. All right, and then you're going to talk about the things that you would like to invite in. So I'm going to start off with my ginger, because I want to actually, I need to put some of the black pepper for the releasing. I'm just using a regular grinder. You could sprinkle the pepper in. Listen, I couldn't find my other pepper, so we're just going to grind a little bit freshly grounded peppercorn, which is going to make it very strong, because pepper is very potent, it's peppery. And I'm going to add the cinnamon and the cayenne later. So I want to attract and invite in prosperity, good fortune, good luck, money into my home, business growth, patronage to my business, success, prosperity into my home, good fortune, good luck. I want to invite love, peace, harmony, healing energy, protection from any negativity and anything that was holding me back. I want to invite unconditional love, joy, happiness, self-love, unconditional love, abundance, prosperity, good fortune, good people into my life and into my space. I use the power of the full moon to invite this energy in to bless my home, my space, my environment, people that I love, healing energy. I invite happiness. And we're going to go ahead and elevate this with the cinnamon. Money, wealth, abundance, prosperity, good fortune, good luck, good health, love, unconditional love, romantic love, self-love, healing and positive love within friendships and one-on-one relationships and partnerships. I invite spiritual insight. I invite spiritual protection. I invite overflow and abundance, balance and harmony in the home, balance and harmony within my personal relationships with friends and family. I invite good fortune. I invite positive energy of positive healing, strength and courage. Courage to face fears, courage to try new things, and I invite positive changes in my life. Once you set your intention, I like to put my hands in front of my candle, or have my hands and have the candles in between the palms of my hands, and I like to visualize energy coming from the palm of my hands and flowing into the candle. And you can also in your mind visualize this energy flowing from your hands into the candle as you program the candle with your magic energy, magic powers to program it to release all the negativity and to bring all the positive things into your life and into your home and into your space. You can say a prayer at this point. I'm going to say a silent prayer. I use this candle as a tool and modality to attract abundance, good love, faith, prosperity, abundance, peace, and harmony into my life. I ask to use this candle as a tool to use the elementals to magnify my own inner power, my inner authority, to manifest the good things in my life and to release anything that's holding me back from having these good things. I set the intention that this candle will manifest positivity, love, good health, prosperity, abundance, joy, unconditional love, self-love, blessings, healings, and protection. Ashe, amen. So once you're done doing that, then you're ready to light your candle. So you have everything in there, okay, and you're ready to burn your candle. So I'm going to just clean up, and then we're going to burn the candle. You're going to have to find a sacred space to put your candle in. You're going to light it, and then you're going to go about your business. And then every day you go and set your intentions. You focus on the candle. You do some reflecting, because that's what the full moon energy is about. And then you wait for your manifestation to happen. With that being said, always believe in what you're doing. Set your intentions and be very strong in your faith that your intentions will come to pass. Alrighty, so we're ready to light our candle. I just light your candle, and that's that. And it's going to smell really good when all the herbs start to burn down. And I just put this to the side, and I always put some water next to my candle. And I like to make an offering to my ancestors as well. And that is the completion of the ritual. You guys can tweak it. You don't have to add as many herbs as I did. You know, if you have some bay leaves, pepper, cinnamon, you know, you can add those in. Whatever you have, just look them up to see what they are good for. Look up herbs for protection. Look up herbs for prosperity. Alright, so that is the end of the ritual. Make sure when you're putting your herbs in that you don't crowd the flame, because that will snuff out the flame. So you want to make sure that you don't have too much things on top of the flame. So you can make sure you move the things, your herbs around, and that way your candle will burn down and you won't have any issues. Yeah, so I just put my candle next to a glass of water and make an offering to my ancestors, and then I'll just come back and keep an eye on the candle, set my intentions, reflect on what I want to release, reflect on what I want to invite in, and then after 7 days or however many days it takes for the candle to burn down, then you can repeat the ritual again. Okay, sometimes the candle will take longer to burn down, and sometimes the candle will burn down faster. Don't worry if some of the herbs get burned as the flame is going down. That is part of the ritual for the herbs to burn down with the candle. Okay, that's why I like to use the fresh herbs for the money and the prosperity and the love, because those will melt into the candle and burn down with the candle for the next 7 days. All the dry herbs will burn right away, and as they burn up, the smoke that comes up will signify the negative energy being burnt away. Okay, so you will have a little bit of smoke. That's why I kind of move, I didn't show this part, but I kind of moved the herbs away from the middle of the candle. But you are going to see a little bit of herbs burning. So at this point, you can keep an eye on it, but just don't have it near anything where anything can catch on fire, because the flames may get high. But as you can see, there is nothing around the candle. And the candle will burn down nicely. The drier herbs will burn away, and the dry herbs are the herbs that are going to help drive away the negativity. And like the cinnamon and the cayenne is going to also invite positivity. As that smoke fills in your space, that energy, and it smells so good. It smells so good, especially with the lavender, this stuff that I put in there. It smells so beautiful. It smells like incense. So that nice pleasant scent is going to invite all that positive stuff in, and then what's being burnt off is burning off that negativity. So the intentions are set, you're good to go. Let me know if you've tried this. Let me know how it works out for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Happy full moon blessings. I love you guys. Bye.